jokes. Can't forget the jokes. Good morning, everyone. It is wonderful to look out here and see your beautiful, shining faces and see so many friends. Just that gives me chills. I love it. Almost as many chills as I get doing the bowl. We want to welcome everyone here today. Unity is a global, inclusive, spiritual community offering practical tools and uplifting resources to help people of all walks of life apply positive spiritual principles in their daily lives. And I would like to remind you, if you have not already, to silence your cell phones. I know we all like learning things, so here's a tidbit of knowledge for you. A recent study has been done, and it has shown there are more airplanes at the bottom of the ocean than there are submarines in the sky. You might need that information someday. Who knows? A man and a woman are sitting near each other at a bar, and he moves closer to her and offers to buy her a drink. She responds saying, "Oh, you are so out of your league. I'm like super popular on social media." And he looks at her and replies, "Isn't that a bit like being rich on Monopoly?" And then I will leave you with this, a little poem that I think is for me and for probably all of you. I've been gooder and I've been badder, many times thinner and many times fatter. There's stuff I remember and stuff I forget, but I've always been me. See, that's what you get.
Good morning. Welcome. I wanted to mention this morning, from time to time, someone in our community is looking for a space to live. And so if you hadn't noticed, someone had left on, actually it's not just someone, it's Maggie. Where's Maggie? There she is. She's in the back there. Maggie is looking to move with her small dog, Chico. And they're hoping to get a 1-bedroom apartment in Mojave County. So if you know of anything and can help Maggie out, you can check out these more details on these little slips of paper back on the table, or just see Maggie. And then the other thing that I wanted to mention is that it's not next Sunday, right? Or the following Sunday. It's still a few weeks away. Mm-hmm. Okay, June 7th, Amanda is doing The Art of Feeling. And she's done some version of this a couple of times here. It's been very popular. Here's the thing, stress affects our lives. And sometimes I will admit, I'm a person that I just tend to suck it up and, just move on, keep moving. And we don't really have to do that. There are tools so that we can manage the stress. And that's what Amanda is offering. So I highly recommend this. There's some details on the back table. Join us on June 7th at 1 o'clock. There is a place I go inside of me where I am safe when I stay with my breathing. clearly see I have no need to be afraid when I'm breathing. So I'm breathing, just breathing.
Good morning, everyone. I will be reading the word of the day. I will repeat the affirmation first, and then we can say it together. I shift my consciousness and begin anew. I shift my consciousness and begin anew. As I look at my life, I see some things working remarkably well. I am blessed by talents and gifts and the opportunity to use them. But I also notice things that aren't working as well. In those areas, perhaps a shift is needed. If I keep doing the same thing over and over again, I will get the same results. So today, I decide to make some new choices. Even small changes made consistently can make a great difference. I begin by shifting my consciousness. As ideas for change come to mind, the accompanying spiritual support also becomes clear. As I make adjustments and alter my course, one thing never changes. Every moment of every day, I am loved and led by spirit or source. I shift my consciousness and begin anew. Amen.
Meditated Monday morning, I was feeling good. Then I cut a guy off on the freeway, he misunderstood. He gave me a sign before I knew it, I gave it right back. Next thing I know, I'm feeling like a homicidal maniac. Sunday I went to church, walked out on a cloud. I was feeling pretty special, all holier than thou. Ran into my ex at the market, wished I were dead. Next thing I know, I'm crying, spent the rest of the day in bed. If I want peace, gotta start where I am. And I want peace, now I understand that I've been waiting for someone to show me the promised land. Now I'm gonna stop and be what I see. Yeah, I'll be peace. Oh yeah, I'll be peace. Wednesday I woke up to a full day, had my list to do. Get my chakras balanced, Reiki, acupuncture too. Ran to my psychic reading, then massage and steaming sauna. Next thing I know, I'm way too tired to ever find nirvana. But if I want peace, gotta start where I am. And I want peace, now I understand that I've been waiting for someone to show me the promised land. Now I'm gonna stop and be what I see. Yeah, I'll be peace. Oh yeah, I'll be peace.
in every place every time I was insane. Testing and testing, I'm resting and threatening, upsetting and stressing my brain. I can't abide, I try to hide, nowhere to go, and it just takes me lower and tight. My fright lies at night, don't even close to holding those swords, so I take a minute to turn myself around, and then I take another to calm myself all the way down. I remember to breathe, I remember to feel the relief inside of me that never ever leaves me. Peace. Yeah. Just peace. All right.
You know I want peace. It's gotta stop where I am, and I want peace. I understand that I've been waiting for someone to show me the promised land. I want to stop and be what I see. Yeah, I'll be peace. I'll be peace. I'll be peace. I'll be peace. Good morning again. I'd like to start this morning with an attunement. I am in the upper room. I have come. I have come. I have come. Behold, I make all things new. God is. God is. God is. Will you join me? I am in the upper room. I have come. I have come. I have come. Behold, I make all things new. God is. God is. God is. Attunement. It's essentially what we are talking about when we, in New Thought, talk about affirmative prayer or scientific prayer or positive prayer. We are simply aligning ourselves with the truth of who we are, with the truth of our being. So it doesn't have to be complicated. That's not complicated. That's pure alignment there, pure attunement to your higher aspect, your higher self, your inner being, spirit source, that is always actually aligned and attuned with the God energy. It's just our bodies are sort of frenetic sometimes. I'm calling myself that, not anybody else. And the ego. So today we are, and first, before I sort of segue to the rest of the talk, what do you think of when you think of the upper room? Meditation. Some people think that sounds biblical. Jesus did refer to the upper room. There are references to him and the 12 disciples being in the upper room. But know that Jesus was a master metaphysician. So, and he was speaking in parables a lot. He was speaking of the highest place we can be in consciousness. I am in the highest place that I can be in consciousness. I have come. And there, all things are made new. Because God is. We are doing a series on I'll take over. We're doing this series on the book Unapologetic Manifestation by Rev Ken Daigle, who is the senior minister at Unity San Francisco. We started last week with the first of 5 steps. But I'd like to mention first that I think sometimes when we think about manifestation, or we think about prosperity, or we think about abundance, we think money. And sure, that certainly can be. It can be about money, but it's important that we understand it can be about our health. It can be about our relationships, our work life, our leisure. So I wanted to mention that because I think I didn't mention that last week when we did our work on looking at what we've already manifested, what we want to manifest. So keeping in mind as we work today, or as we go through the talk today, that we're thinking about all those aspects of our life. So to recap last week, the step 1 is focus your mind. And we got kind of into the nitty-gritty of how that really is giving attention, because we're giving attention all of the time and we're manifesting all of the time. So the question is, what are we giving our attention to? So we talked about intense attention, or intense intention. And then we also talked about that some of us, I'm not pointing any fingers, may have become somewhat contented in our lives. And maybe we've even gotten lazy in our thinking. Not anybody here, of course. So we looked at what we've manifested in the past, what we are currently manifesting, and what we would like to manifest in the future. And I can tell you that there were people who walked in here last week who were contented and walked out deciding they're going to get the book and they have something specific in mind that they want to work towards. So here we are. I hope maybe you get on board too. Here are the 5 steps. Focus your mind, shift your consciousness, take concrete steps, share your journey, and be open. And I'll tell you, I feel like even though we've been at this for a couple of months now, this working through the book and the meditations, which are on the website, you can pick up that information back at the back table. I'm understanding it the more that I study it and the more that I teach it. So I'm knowing I want more than what I will get just by going through it once. We got an affirmation for today. Do you want to say this together? I am willing to examine my thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors. I release what no longer serves me, and I am willing to be changed at depth. Ooh. I don't need to be changed at depth. Oh, yes, I do. I want to be. I say often, I want to be transformed at the depth of my being. I mean, I don't want to waste my time here. So step 2, shift your consciousness. Anyone here ever lived in a basement? You know, it was a nice basement. I was a teenager and my parents were like, give me a little bit of more freedom. You know, I had the back door right there and we had this beautiful purple blue carpeting and lavender paint on the walls. but there wasn't much to look out out the window. You know, the windows are up there at the ceiling. So you're lucky if you maybe see the top of the house across the street or people's feet. So you can envision that view. Now envision your view if you've gone to the 3rd or 4th or 5th floor of a building. And now imagine your view if you go to the rooftop. That's the shift we're talking about. So the title of today's talk is Shift Happens. Or not. That's the whole title there. Shift happens or not. And I think that we're maybe all a little bit still on the fence there. We're gonna shift or not. So the implication there is that there's some effort that is involved in the shift, even if it's going from the basement to the 1st floor. There's some steps involved. And something more specific in terms of those steps is that there are some patterns of thought and there are some beliefs that we have that can get in the way. Even if we practice going through these steps, there are beliefs from wounds of the past that we don't even know are there, and they affect our behaviors and our actions. I know that that is quite assertive of me to say that, but there's enough literature supporting that we all have these things. So Susan and I were talking this morning about skepticism, about meeting anyone new or anything new with some skepticism. And maybe there's a level of skepticism that is healthy. And then there's a level of skepticism which holds us back. Doubt. Even if we think, oh, I'm sure that's a good book, and I read it and it's a great book, but I don't think that I can do it. So you basically just slammed the door on your good. And you know, a lot of these thoughts are sometimes unconscious. We don't even realize that we're having them. And that's why the kind of work that is asked of us in this book, we're not doing that on Sunday mornings. We're just skimming the surface on Sunday mornings. Know that I'm doing the work, and I invite you to do the work as well. Fear. Fear of trying and failing, deciding that I really would like something in my life, and I do all this, and it doesn't work. And then just false beliefs that we have based on wounds that we have experienced in our lifetime, over our lifetime, from different experiences with people and incidences. There's a lot that can wound us in a lifetime. And that's where we come to this concept of shadow work. And we actually started talking about this a month ago. And and we're still talking about it. Are you tired of hearing about it?
No.
Okay, good. So then I'm gonna recommend something else too, the book. And then guess what? He's got, Janet says the workbook, right, the companion journal. I haven't started on that yet. But just saying, there's no way that if we, put the effort in, that we won't benefit from doing that work. In the book, Reverend Daigle talks at depth about 5 or 6 different tools to use in shifting your consciousness. And I want to just touch on 2 of them today. One is what we've also been talking about for a while, but I haven't really gone into it in depth. So we're going to do this in a little bit more detail today. The 4 levels of spiritual consciousness. So when things happen to me, what level of spiritual consciousness do I respond at? Do I shift into everything happens to me? Why is this stuff happening to me? These people hate me. Why are they doing these things? And the honest thing is, we all go there every day. Maybe not quite in that way, not quite that obnoxious like I was just being, but the tire really went flat. Done to me. The universe, gave me a flat tire. But before too long, if you've done this sort of spiritual work or self-help stuff, then you can fairly quickly move into a more empowering position where you take your power back, because that feeling of things happening to me feels like I'm powerless. And so from the level of recognizing that things happen more for me or even by me, even though I didn't flatten my own tire, there's a wiser, infinite consciousness, intelligence above it all. And so we may not be at the point where we're saying a flat tire is a gift, but we can say, I'm going to take my power back in this moment. I'll make the call, have somebody fix it, or I'll go out and fix that flat myself. Through me. We were talking about the golden key this morning a little bit, and that's sort of a through me consciousness. There is a power, and I'm going to shift my thoughts and my consciousness onto that greater power. God, spirit, source, whatever you call it. And I'm going to give all of my attention to that, and things are going to work out. Doesn't mean I still don't need to pick up the phone, make the call, go out and fix the flat. But this is what shifts. And when this shifts, the whole vibration shifts, which then clears the way for my good to come to me. And my neighbor says, oh, I see you got a flat. Let me fix that for you. Boom. We got stopped on the highway between here and Las Vegas, the 3 of us in Mom's car with a flat tire. And I'm telling you, we no more than got out of the car till 2 guys stopped, and in minutes, we were back on the road. And then finally, as me. So the understanding, the foundational understanding at this level is that there is nothing that is not God. There is nothing that is not source, including me. So things are happening in my life. I'm experiencing life as God, the God within me. And I just love this affirmation. In God I live, move, and have my being. In me, God lives, moves, and has expression. Can you feel that? Can you affirm that? In God I live, move, and have my being. In me, in you, in us, God lives, moves, and has expression. So we could go through all of those levels in a few moments, or we could hang out at level 1 for the day or for a lifetime. And believe me, I know some people who are hanging out there a lot. And it's called victimhood. It's a place. Not that people don't have, as I said earlier, shift happens. And the other word is the one I'm referencing now. And where we want to move to is one of these other levels when that kind of S happens. Not saying we don't want to give attention to our feelings that we're experiencing, because honoring them is the quickest way to move through them to the other levels. So I hope that makes those 4 levels a little bit clearer than I think I just kind of skipped over them the last couple of times we talked about them. The other thing that I wanted to share with you today, and I always tend to get, that's not a good affirmation, Natalie. So I want to mention one of the other tools that he mentions in this chapter, Step 2, Shift Your Consciousness, is the tool of forgiveness. And he talks about the story in the Bible of the prodigal son. And in case you don't know about that story, it's simply that this very rich man had 2 sons, and his youngest son got tired of living a boring life at home and decided to go to his father and say, I want all my inheritance now. His father gave it to him. He went out and spent it all. And before he knew it, he had nothing. And then a famine hit, and he was feeding pigs and wished he could eat what the pigs were eating. So it hit him, I could even go home and maybe my father will allow him to work for me. But what happened instead was that his father saw him coming, because his father had been watching and looking and waiting for him. And he met him and he told everybody, we're going to celebrate. Let's go all out. So they're having this huge bash because his son has returned and there's no way he's going to make him work. And then his older brother, who's been working all day, comes in from the field and says, what's all the hullabaloo? And they tell him, your brother has returned and we're having this wonderful celebration. And he is PO'd. And that's how the story ends. One of Jesus' wonderful parables. What I would like to tell you is what I want to share from the chapter directly is Ken Daigle's story. Several years ago, we were away for a family Christmas trip. Our eldest son, whom we had adopted at 16 from the foster care system 2 years earlier, couldn't join us because of his work obligations. When we returned, we discovered he had sold everything we had given him for Christmas, including the TV off the wall and the car we had bought him. He had moved away to live in Florida with a former foster family. I was devastated, hurt, and angry. He was 18, and like many 18-year-olds, he thought his life would be better elsewhere. Florida and the other family did not work out, and months later he showed up on our doorstep exhausted and asking to come home. Of course, we took him back in. But I noticed something in myself. When he moved back into his room, the holes where he had ripped the TV off the wall to sell it were still there, and I refused to patch them. I said to my husband, I'm not buying him a new TV. He will have to learn this lesson and buy that for himself. I found myself withholding and angry. Then one day in therapy, I realized, I'm not forgiving him. I'm holding on to this resentment. I want him to be punished more. I want him to feel as bad as I did. I'm the brother in the story. I'm not the father. I'm the elder brother in the prodigal son story. At that moment, I felt a rush of compassion for the pain our son went through, the pain he lives with, and the pain I felt. I remembered that if I had lived his life abandoned by his birth family at 8 and shuttled from home to home for the next 8 years, I might be making the same choices. He wasn't doing it to me. He was just doing it. I was the one making it about me. My unforgiveness, pettiness, and small-mindedness were right in front of my face. I had to forgive myself too. So we got him a new TV. We fixed up his room again, got new furniture, and celebrated his return. We can often be the elder brother holding on, thinking we're alone, thinking nobody sees us or knows what we've been through or the pain we felt. Anybody else in here? What this experience taught me and what the story keeps unfolding for me is that we must look at ourselves and be willing to change, no matter how far into the journey we are, no matter how many times we think we've gotten it right, there's always more to do. Shift happens or not. So all of those barriers that I talked about earlier, skepticism, doubt, fear, false beliefs, they all come from thinking. And some of you know that we study A Course of Love, which was sort of birthed out of A Course in Miracles. And one of the first lessons in A Course of Love is 2 words: think not. Just stop thinking. Think not. And we were just reading this the other day. Let us now consider thinking to be the active and often unwelcome voice in your head, the voice of background chatter. And let us consider your thoughts to be the more meditative version of your thinking. So thoughts versus thinking. often even resulting in a conclusion to your thinking, a summary of the finer points as what might come to you in a reflective moment at the end of the day. Again, we will see the idea of thoughts coming to you at such times. This is not the thinking of a conflicted and struggling mind, but the thoughts of a mind at rest. Thinking is more descriptive of the ego mind, while thoughts are more descriptive of the true mind. So I wanted to share, I would like to end today. It's already time for me to end. I'm calling freedom, or I'm calling forgiveness practice I'm calling it freedom practice. Because forgiveness sort of kind of takes us back into the old theology. And I think that freedom has the same impact or a more powerful impact than forgiveness. I'd like to close with a channel by Paul Selig. It's 8 minutes, and I thought we would do an exercise, but I'm feeling like this is going to be more powerful for you today. So will you adjust the volume for me?
When we see you before us in a perfected state, actualized if you wish, we comprehend the aspect of you that has never known fear, never chosen in fear, never been jealous, never been deceitful. The aspect of you that has come in form is here to learn lessons through those behaviors, and indeed you have and may continue to. But you may opt to move beyond them at a different stage of realization than you have come to before. The regarding of the other, whoever he is or she is, as of God, is actually a mandatory act for anyone who is on this path. You cannot pick and choose who is of God and who is not, nor can you decide that one should be shunned or disbarred and another should not. Some of you decide these things through coercion or through the family heritage that you have been born into. We always do this. This is who we are. We always hate them because we always have. And your regard for another at that level of choice, born in separation and fear, accrues more and more evidence of its necessity. Why you need the walls and the locks on the doors, and to penalize some and to bless others. Your regard for another's being, who and what they truly are, must now be seen as sacred. And this is going to be the great challenge in the years to come, because you will see things enacted that will seem to defy this, and you will be invited to hate or to decide that some could never be worthy, either of a country, a law, or a place to be. You will be asked to see some in shadow. They'll be cast in shadow, and you'll be invited to see them there. But understand that this is still deceit. To regard the inherent holiness of another human being is to enter the kingdom, or to realize the kingdom, or the divine in the one that you see. Now, this is an active choice at the level of the personality structure. But when you truly align to the higher room, you come into accord with a jurisdiction that actually bypasses the laws that you have been born into. When you move to the upper room, it is less a choice than a simple acknowledgement of what is always true. Imagine you know that a bush has poisonous fruit. You grew up around the bush. You don't eat the fruit, and you tell your children, best not to eat the fruit that grows there. it will make you very ill. When you move to the upper room at a level of alignment, you are no longer saying good man or bad man, you are knowing them. You may be knowing what they are capable of in their lower actions, but you are not self-deceiving by denying the divine that must express as them. It simply is. The bush simply is. It's a glorious bush. Just don't eat the fruit. You understand yourselves what discernment is. Best not to pick up the poisonous snake with your bare hands. Best to stay away from the one who is swinging the machete. But you don't condemn them by putting them in darkness. You stay away from the machete. You ignore the snake and step away, but realize that the snake itself is also a product of source, or an iteration of source, because nothing cannot be. To deny the divine in anything or in anyone is actually to enable the darkness. And you do this while you think that you are ennobling the light. I will be a warrior for the light. I will smite the dark people. The shadows will be displaced by my sword of light. In fact, what you are doing at that level of vibration is deciding that some are worthy and some are not. Because if you are truly the light, you'll invite them to you as the light that they truly are. You will see the light in them, regardless of what they present, and bless them in their being. Now, to bless someone is not to condone their behavior or their actions. It's to realize them as in the presence of Source. A blessing is the realization of the knowing of the action of the divine upon the thing, especially where the thing has been placed in shadow. The one who has been placed in darkness must be brought to light. You don't do this as a Pollyanna. Oh, there's Annabelle. Her husband left her. Let's bring her some light and give her a happy day. You know Annabelle is worthy of her own relations, of her own being, of her own right to be, and you claim the light that is indeed her, regardless of what she believes or what her husband said or did. It is not an act of pity or even an act of counsel. It's an act of expression. The light that you are in its expression knows who another is. And the benefit is the presence of the light that you are indeed sharing with them. This is not done by choice from the level of amplitude that we teach at. We cannot ignore the light in you, the inherent perfection in you, nor do we ignore the choices you have made, the singular choices that you have made in fear, or the collective choices you make in coercion, or in deceit, or in a lie told and shared. A lie told and shared. Some are more worthy than others, must be seen as what it is, an act of darkness. And to be coerced at that level is to become responsible for the choices that you make in that dark space. You are not exempt from the results. When you turn your back on the one who needs you because you fear her, or you think ill of what he does, when you decide he is not worthy of your compassion or love, you have denied the light in them, and you are accountable to the choice and what that calls forth to you. Again, there is discernment. If the one at your door is seeking to harm you, do not open the door, but understand the light that is still there regardless of what he is doing, and claim the presence of the divine where he is and through his actions. This ennobles him beyond coercion, beyond language, beyond any language at all, because the God within you will always know who he is or she is as of itself. The God that is within you is the same God in the one that you hate, or the one that you would fear, or the one that you would bar from your home. To know God in them is to claim the presence of the source of all things, that is always present, but can be denied.
So, shift happens or not. Namaste.
said, let there be light. The sky cracked open, what a beautiful sight. It was a big bang. Big bang. It was a biggity biggity bang. Biggity biggity bang. It was a big bang. Big bang. It was a biggity biggity bang. Biggity biggity bang. A man named Buddha sat under a tree. MEDADADING. All of a sudden, his life was changed. The whole entire world was rearranged. It was a big bang. Big bang. It was a biggity biggity bang. Biggity biggity bang. It was a big bang. Big bang. It was a biggity biggity bang. Biggity biggity bang. You and I in the midst of the ever-changing life. Everything, everything, all creation, on and on and on. Away in the manger, a baby was born, and the world got brighter that blessed morn. His name was Jesus, and he came to stay. He said, I am the truth, the light, the way. He was a big bang. Big bang. He was a biggity biggity bang. Biggity biggity bang. He was a big bang. Big bang. He was a biggity biggity bang. Biggity biggity bang. The cave of Hira was a special spot where a dude named Muhammad liked to chill a lot. Till the angel Gabriel came one day and said, boy, you better listen what I gotta say. It was a big bang. Big bang. A biggity biggity bang. Biggity biggity bang. It was a big bang. Big bang. A biggity biggity bang. Biggity biggity bang. You and I in the midst of the ever-changing life. Everything, everything, all creation, on and on and on. God gave us Buddha, Muhammad, and Christ. But in spite of all that, we continue to fight. Now it's up to us to get it done. Cause no matter where we look, there's only one. It's a big bang. Big bang. It's a biggity biggity bang. Biggity biggity bang. It's a big bang. Big bang. A biggity biggity bang. A biggity biggity bang.
A biggity, biggity, biggity bang. Yes, I love that. I love that. And today, I'm, oh, I have to have a mic. That's right. You think after all this time I'd remember that. But I already told you my poem, so it is what it is. So we want to recognize anyone who is here for the first time. Would you raise your hand if you're here for the first time?
So Pat and George, yeah, they are from another unit.
From another unity, yes, and they have a son living here. So we are delighted to have you, and we thank you. If you're just passing through, you don't need to fill out all that stuff, but we would like to hear what you thought about the service that we had today. And do we have anybody else that's here? I thought I recognized everybody else. And where am I at? Oh, and now we are doing our love gifts affirmation. And I would tell you we have a new affirmation now. So just be aware, you're going to be reading different words in just a minute. But we want to thank everyone who gives to the ministry of this unity and makes it possible for what we can do and for our Sundays and to have Natalie and Barry as our minister. So we're grateful for all of that. So if you will join with me in reading there are boxes under each chair, and we have a tip tap machine in the back if that's how you choose to give, and we appreciate it all. So let's read our affirmation. Today I feel deeply blessed and grateful for the goodness that surrounds me. I effortlessly attract opportunities, joy, and love, aligning my energy with the life I dream of living. I trust that the universe is guiding me as I step closer to my highest potential. And so it is. Holy light, thank you for my life. Holy light, thank you for my life. It shines so bright here and now, here and now.
Believe it or not, that was me popping up.
That's the best I can do. We love you.
We love you too. Okay, I am here this morning to read the pop-up positivity for the day, if I can find it.
I think it got under.
Did it get mixed up here?
Under R. Yes, there it is.
Oh,
Yay.
thank you, Natalie. Our pop-up positivity today is titled Guns into Gardens. The scripture reads, "They shall beat their swords into plowshares." After the 2012 shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School, Colorado Mennonite pastor Mike Martin was overwhelmed by grief and felt compelled to do something. Inspired by Isaiah's vision, "They shall beat their swords into plowshares," Martin and his father began learning blacksmithing so they could transform unwanted firearms into garden tools and works of art. That effort grew into Raw Tools, a Colorado-based nonprofit that inspired the Guns to Gardens movement. Across the country, local groups are hosting events now where unwanted guns are collected and turned into tools, jewelry, and sculptures. What was designed to take life becomes something that helps life grow. Violence struck the glowing metal with at one event, a mother who had lost her son to gun violence struck the glowing metal with a hammer. "I feel like I'm planting something my son would have wanted to grow," she said. To learn more about this program, go to rawtools.org. And so it is.
Thank you, Linda. That was lovely.
Time for Qigong with Jerry.
Me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, let's do some Qigong.
Okay.
And if anybody's not familiar with Qigong, Qi simply means life energy, that energy that's in us and all around us. Gong means work or practice. So what we're going to do is cultivate this life energy in us and around us. We always start by getting into our Qigong posture. The feet are about shoulder width, somewhat parallel. Knees are slightly bent as in locked, then released. Pelvic is slightly tilted. Spines are erect but relaxed. Arms dangling, fingers dangling, shoulders dropped, head and neck aligned with the spine. And just relax into this posture. Allow this posture to bring you into the present moment. This chi, this life energy, only exists in the present. And if we're going to cultivate it, we need to be here now in this posture. And then sink the chi. Inhale as your palms float up. Exhale as your palms float down and your awareness floats down. Detecting and releasing any tension. One more time to sink the chi. Now we'll do a set of exercises designed to balance that yin and yang energy in our bodies. So inhale as your palms float up. This time, as they float down, if it's comfortable, allow your knees to bend. A slow rhythm of sinking, rising back up to center, then out in front and around and down, like you're tracing the circumference of a large ball. Inhale up to center, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Then inhale up to chest height, make a diamond shape. Exhale out and down as you sink. Balancing our heart. Taking this world in a love embrace. Preparing ourselves to meet the remainder of the day with an open and loving heart. Up to chest high and diamond shape. Exhale out and down. We'll do that routine one more time. Up to chest high. Exhale out and don't sink as you exhale down. And do sink the chi. And bring your feet together and put your palms over the lower dantian. If your thumb's right at the base of your navel, your palm will be over the lower dantian, the storehouse for this chi energy. Just imagine your feet ascending roots down into the earth. Your upper body is lithe, supple, able to sway like a bamboo in the wind. Just relax into it and allow your body to move however it wants to. Side to side, forward and back, circular movements, undulations, whatever your body chooses. Tuning in to that chi energy that's all around us, that's in continual movement. And just relax, relax, relax. And we'll find ourselves back in the center. Open our arms, maybe gazing upward, practicing this wonderful emotion of gratitude. Thank you, God, thank you, Source, thank you, Universe. Thank you for everything. Thank you for the beautiful, still, cool morning this morning. Thank you, God, for this warm afternoon. Thank you, God, for allowing us to dance in this human forms for a short time. Thank you for everything. Inhale as you bring your palms together down in front of your mouth. Open your palms. Exhale out your mouth and your palms. Bring that breath down to your heart area. And may all beings be free from suffering. May all beings be free from hunger. May all beings be truly happy. Namaste, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Jerry.
Shall we come together for our closing song?
I am whole. I am safe. I'm loved as I am. I'm grateful and I'm free. I'm as perfect as can be. I'm here. I'm whole as I am. I'm here. I'm whole as I am. I am safe. I am loved as I am. I am grateful and I'm free. I'm as perfect as can be. I am here. I am whole as I am. I am here. I am whole as I am.
Chance before the service. See you, honey. You're doing so good. Thank you. Thank you so much.